A dramatic scene unfolds under a purple-black sky just before the break of dawn. The silence of the Russian countryside is heavy, oppressive, a calm that's about to be shattered inside fortified air bases. Deep within Russia, a powerful collection of aircraft, the Tu-95 Bear, the Tu-22M Backfire, and the A-50 surveillance plane, sit quietly, ready for missions that range from routine surveillance to delivering a decisive nuclear strike if called upon. But this is a story not about power in the traditional sense. It's a story about creativity, audacity, and unconventional strategies. It's a story about a dramatic attack, a clandestine mission that challenged the very notion of a safe rear base, a mission called Operation Spider's Web. Today, we're going deep into how Ukraine struck Moscow's most important bombers without a single conventional missile, a feat that underscores a dramatic shift in modern warfare, setting the stage. The Russian Air Force's crown jewels to appreciate the significance of this attack, we first need to know a bit more about these aircraft. The Tu-95 is a Cold War icon, a giant 4-engine turboprop designed to carry nuclear warheads across continents. The Tu-22M, a medium-range, variable sweep wing bomber, was designed to perform fast, deep strikes against NATO formations. The A-50, meanwhile, is a sophisticated airborne warning and control system, a flying radar, a command center, indispensable for coordinating operations across vast areas. These planes aren't just aircraft, they're a legacy of Soviet power, a legacy that Russia has relied upon for decades. They form the core of its ability to project power far and wide, from Arctic waters to the Black Sea, and to launch precision attacks against distant targets. The planning, a covert operation, begins. About 18 months before the attack, a small team within the Ukrainian Security Services, SBU, started designing a mission that seemed improbable, or even impossible. How could a country under siege with limited resources destroy or disable some of the most well-guarded and strategically important aircraft deep within Russian territory, instead of trying to match force with force? A battle that Ukraine was not well equipped to win, the planners decided to be smarter. Using a combination of clandestine operations, specialized technology, and careful reconnaissance, they prepared a mission that would exploit a key vulnerability, a lack of preparedness against small, hard-to-detect attacks. How it unfolded. The Spider's Web begins. This mission was called Spider's Web, a fitting name for a plan designed to entrap a powerful adversary. The first step was transporting a large number of small, explosive-laden drones across the border. In ordinary-looking trucks, using a network of clandestine handlers and collaborators, these trucks crossed into Russian territory without raising suspicion, hidden amongst agricultural produce and industrial equipment. Once safely across, the trucks were routed toward points close to 4 key air bases. Meanwhile, specialized teams were already in place nearby, ready to launch their small, silent aircraft when the moment came. This careful setup meant the attack could be launched from well within Russian borders, reducing flight time, making detection more difficult, and adding an element of surprise. The strike begins. Drones take flight. In the dim hours before dawn on June 1st, nearly 117 small first-person view FPV drones were launched in a coordinated assault. Controlled by specialized teams on the ground, many using advanced encrypted communications and GPS guidance, these drones flew in low beneath radar and other surveillance systems. Some were small, fast, and designed to dart directly into hangars and maintenance facilities. Others were a bit larger, intended to carry heavier explosive charges. Together, this small army of drones struck nearly a dozen aircraft. Tu-95s, Tu-22Ms, A-50s, damaging or destroying them in a matter of minutes. Flames rose from the airfields, munitions detonated, maintenance crews rushed for cover, alarm signals wailed across the base. The attack was a dramatic, decisive blow, a small number of well-placed explosions that rendered a significant portion of Moscow's strategic aircraft inoperable. Damage report quantifying the impact. Open source reports and satellite imagery soon confirmed the scale of the attack. At least 6 Tu-95s were destroyed, 4 Tu-22M backfire bombers were gone, and an A-50 surveillance aircraft was disabled. Some reports from Ukraine's SBU put total aircraft destroyed or damaged at more than 41, nearly 20% of Russia's total strategic bomber force. A staggering blow to its ability to project power. The attack not only destroyed hardware, it forced the Russian Air Force to withdraw many of its remaining aircraft to more distant bases, reducing their ability to respond quickly and effectively to operations in Ukraine. Ripple effects. Why it matters. This attack underscores a dramatic shift in modern conflict. Using small, relatively cheap drones, platforms that cost a fraction of the multi-million-dollar aircraft they destroy, a small country under attack can undermine a much more powerful adversary's capabilities. This highlights a key vulnerability. In large, sophisticated militaries, they are designed for conventional wars, not for attacks from small, distributed, hard-to-detect platforms. Psychological impact and morale. For the Russian Air Force, this attack was a shock. It challenged the long-standing belief that their most valued assets were safely hidden deep within their own territory. It forced a reassessment of base defenses, maintenance routines, and deployment strategies, adding a psychological dimension to the physical damage. For Ukraine, it was a huge boost to morale. It demonstrated their ability to innovate, to find weaknesses in a powerful adversary's defenses, and to respond in kind, not by matching brute force with brute force, but by employing creativity and adaptability. The broader impact, a turning point in modern conflict. This attack wasn't just a dramatic episode in the ongoing conflict. It marked a turning point in how wars are fought in the 21st century. For years, large powers believed their greatest assets, sophisticated aircraft, fortified bases, well-equipped crews, were safely out of reach of unconventional attacks. But this attack challenged that view. It demonstrated that a small, nimble force can find a vulnerability, a weak spot in a powerful military's defenses and exploit it in a way that has a dramatic, permanent impact. This signals a shift in power. Suddenly, it's not about having the most expensive equipment or the greatest number of soldiers. It's about adaptability, creativity, and a deep understanding of an opponent's weaknesses. Ripple effects among military. Planners across the world, generals and defense ministers are reassessing their strategies in light of this attack. How can a base be made more resilient against a small, dispersed attack from drones? How much should a country invest in protective measures? Radar nets, electronic jamming, physical barriers to safeguard its most valuable assets? Some are already considering specialized counter-drone formations, small mobile units trained to respond quickly to aerial intruders, while others are looking into hardening their hangars and adding protective covers to aircraft. The attack underscores a hard reality. Large, sophisticated platforms can be vulnerable to tiny, persistent, and clever attackers. Ukrainian innovation, turning weakness into strength. This mission highlights a key strength of the Ukrainian side: adaptability. Instead of trying to match Russian power directly, which would be a losing proposition, Ukraine turned to its greatest asset: creativity. Using a combination of small, low-cost drones and careful clandestine operations, it struck directly at a key vulnerability in the Russian Air Force. This underscores a powerful principle in modern conflict. Adaptability is more decisive than pure force. Where a large army might rely on brute force and extensive resources, a small, flexible force can find a weak spot and exploit it, effectively turning a weakness into a decisive advantage. International reactions and lessons. For NATO and European allies, this attack is a dramatic demonstration of a new form of smart aggression, a tactic that will likely become more and more prevalent in future wars. Military planners across NATO are now asking hard questions. How well protected are their own bases against small drone attacks? How much redundancy do their air forces have if a key base were suddenly disabled? Some are already exploring specialized defenses, from jamming signals to employing trained falcons to attack small drones, while others are investing in sensor nets and automated turrets. The future of air superiority. This attack underscores a dramatic reality. The era when a handful of sophisticated aircraft could guarantee air superiority is fading. Today, numerous small, low-cost platforms can collectively undermine that superiority in a matter of minutes. This signals a fundamental shift in how air power will be defined in future wars. Instead of prestige platforms ruling the skies, a combination of dispersed, adaptable, and hard-to-detect systems may become the dominant force. As we close this deep dive into the attack that left Moscow's most important bombers stranded and vulnerable, it's worth reflecting on what it means for future conflict. The attack wasn't just a dramatic moment in a war, it was a clear indicator of a new era.